Hello and welcome to my video. In this video we're going to be talking about rugby. That's right, Rugby Championship round number 5 from Argentina. We're going to be talking Springboks versus Los Pumas. Welcome to my channel, and I hope if you're a new visitor to my channel you're going to hit that little subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. It always helps with YouTube to do that. My name's Mark and I'm going to be talking in this video about the upcoming Rugby Championship match on this Saturday in Argentina between the South African Springboks and the Argentinian Los Pumas. It's a very interesting game coming up, and we're into round number 5 of the Rugby Championships, and it's been an outstanding championship so far this year, and who knows what's going to happen between now and the end of the competition after the next 2 rounds. Well, there's been a lot of scandal in Argentina this week surrounding the South African team, and in particular unchanged, and he's been sent home along with the team dietitian, who got into a little bit of trouble, let's put it that way. I don't want to go into too much detail. And as a result, those 2 members of the South African team, one a dietitian, unchanged is obviously a player, have been sent back to South Africa in a little bit of disgrace. Meanwhile, sticking with on-field action and what's going to be happening this weekend, who do we think is going to win this match between the Springboks and Argentina? Well, let's look at Argentina first, because they're coming off a thrashing by the New Zealand All Blacks in Hamilton 2 weeks ago. It was a rainy old night in Hamilton, but the All Blacks put on a dominant display against the Argentinian Pumas. And I don't know what happened really. It just was a matter of the All Blacks clicking and the Argentinians falling off their high level of play that they've been playing throughout this championship. Now, they've never won 3 games in a championship competition before, so if they were able to win this weekend against the Springboks, they would be winning their 3rd game in this particular championships. So we don't know what Argentinian team's going to turn up on Saturday, whether it's going to be the one that's focused and committed and can stand with the Springboks, or whether they're going to be the team that capitulated to the All Blacks in Hamilton a couple of weeks ago. Now, a little bit of controversy around where the game's going to be played in Buenos Aires. The actual ground that was put up for this match is actually being deemed unfit to play on, so they've actually moved the playing ground to another ground in Buenos Aires for this particular match. Don't think that's going to make a lot of difference. Maybe the capacity of the ground is going to be different for the spectators, but I would imagine that the playing surface itself is going to be okay. So the Argentinians are going in with the same squad they had in New Zealand. They've got 2 players coming back who didn't travel to New Zealand, so they can pick the same starting 15 if they want to play the Springboks on Saturday night. I suspect the Argentinians are going to be up for this game. They're back in front of their home supporters again. They're going to try and put out that memory of that loss against the All Blacks, I'm sure, in New Zealand, and maybe focus on the match they actually won in New Zealand in Christchurch against the All Blacks, which was, of course, a historic win for the Argentinian Pumas in New Zealand. If that team turns up, then I think they've got a chance of beating the Springboks. I think this game's going to be pretty close, but it could go another way. It could be a Springboks massive winner as well. Turning our attention to the Springboks, they're coming in with the same team that demolished Australia. And I use the word demolished because it was a very thorough victory. Overlooking the game now, I've watched it 2 or 3 times, and I just think it was a pretty dominant display by the Springboks, and they could have got some more points out of that particular game. So I'm picking the Springboks going in with the same team is going to be too big and too physical for the Argentinian Pumas across the park. I think they've got too much speed as well in their backs, and as long as they can get their backs ignited into this match by the forwards winning good clean ball and fast ball, I think we're going to see the Springboks come out with comfortable victory in Buenos Aires. A lot of talk in the press this week about the unchanged team, and the coach from the Springboks, no neighbour, has been giving talk around giving young players an opportunity, and those players on the fringes an opportunity as we head into World Cup year next year. He wants to see these players playing under pressure. So a lot of the South African viewers that watch my channel here talk about there's too many changes going on, the team's been getting changed too much. Is that what you think, or do you think this is a good idea to blood in new players for the World Cup for next year? It's likely that South Africa is going to come up against one of these teams, if not two of them, in the World Cup in the later stages of the competition next year, and it could be either a quarterfinal or a semi-final match. So having a win against these teams in the Rugby Championship, I think, is going to be a really good thing for the Springboks. The Springboks are really good at playing in competitions, and I think they're going to get up and have a good win this weekend. They're going to probably need to try and get a bonus point to get over New Zealand if New Zealand are going to win against Australia, and if New Zealand's going to get a bonus point in that match as well. I think bonus points are probably going to be the critical factor in winning this Rugby Championship in 2022. So the match is on Saturday evening in Buenos Aires, and all eyes are going to be on the Springboks to see whether they can continue that great form they showed against Australia in Australia, having that historic victory in Sydney 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure that's going to give the Springboks a lot of momentum going into this match in Buenos Aires. I think the Argentinians are going to be pumped. I think they're going to be on board for this game, but I think the Springboks are just going to have too much for them, and maybe the gremlins get into the Argentinians' heads, particularly if they're behind on the scoreboard after the first half. I can see the Springboks perhaps running away with this in the second half. Well, let me know what your thoughts are on the preview of this match between the Argentinian Los Pumas and the South African Springboks. Interested to hear who you think is going to win, and how many points do you think is going to be the difference between these two teams? Is it going to be a blowout win for the Springboks like it was for New Zealand against Argentina, or do you think the home ground advantage and the whole nationalistic pride of being back in Argentina with their supporters and their fans is going to make the difference in this match? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching this video. Hit the old subscribe button if you can. Send us a comment or two, and I'll be back after all the Rugby Championship matches this weekend. We've got a very tight and close ladder, as you can see here on the Rugby Championship ladder as it stands before we go into this weekend's matches, and let's see how it looks after the weekend. I'll be back with videos then reviewing both of the weekend's matches. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and stay focused on your rugby. Bye for now.